Hey guys, welcome to Unmasking the Blueprint, which is usually on Tuesdays, but we have a special occasion. We're doing a marriage panel today. Okay, for those who know me, my name is Rachel Pins. Who don't know me, my name is Rachel Pins. I am a strategy coach. I am the one and the only dream plan do coach. Okay. I help my clients go from dreaming to planning and to actually doing the things that they wanted to do in their life. Okay. And so I came on this amazing day because I have a group called Take Your Life Back. And they wanted to know and talk about marriages. How do you stay in a marriage? How do you stay in an unhealthy marriage? How do you stay in a marriage that feels stuck? You feel like it's not going nowhere. Maybe you're unhappy. How do you do these things? And I was like, you know what? Let's have a marriage panel. And I didn't want y'all to just to hear from me because you know your girl been in a game for 16 years, okay, pulling it in. You know, I'm a strategy coach, you know, I got you. But you know, I like to bring in reinforcement. I brought in the Chelsea, she a MA, okay, she got the master in the game with life counselor, marriage counselor. If I miss something, make sure you throw it in because we're not taking nothing away from Chelsea. And she married and she have kids, okay? Let me tell you. Let's drum roll, please. We got the Wendy. Not only is she a pastor, she got 32 years in the marriage game. Okay. So when we come into the table talking to you about marriage, we coming to the table, we bringing the tea to the table. We're going to answer the questions the way spiritually we think they should be answered, the way we've handled them, and the way that we've been educated to answer them, if that makes sense. We brought you some education in, we brought you some scripture in, then we brought your girl Rachel, and that's gonna give you the business, okay? So let's go. So before we get started, I want to say something. There's always gonna be people who's watching who like I tuned in because I'm not married yet, and I kind of want to know the things. Hold on, let me get my notes up. A lot of times before we get married, we kind of want to know, like, okay, what is marriage like, or what are people that's already married having problems in? And so these are the questions that we're going to be asking today. So one of the questions that's asked today is how do you continue a marriage when you're dealing with infidelity in external affairs? Ooh, that's a good one. So if you're watching and you're not married yet, okay. Two, are you married but you feel alone? And if you do, how do you stay? Number three, do you feel sexually different? How do you feel? How do you stay in a marriage when you feel sexually indifferent? When one of you just not performing the way the other one should, or you feel like you have a dead bedroom? Number four, how do you survive without the same values and benefit in future plans and beliefs? Number, I think I was on number four, wasn't I? Reverse. Okay. Number five, money and finances. How important is that in money management? Okay. So if you are new in marriage, if you're thinking about getting married, this is what married people are asking right now in their marriages. So before you say I do, before you get serious in a relationship, start meditating on those things about the person that you look at him or her and go, how is this person in finances? Hmm, how are we in the bedroom? Or should we even be in the bedroom? We don't leave that alone. We got to pass it on the line, okay?
That's not true.
I'm gonna leave that one. Okay, how do you survive when I have goals and he doesn't have goals, or vice versa? Um, how do you stay in a marriage when you feel alone? And so, oh, and the big one, baby, number one. Who have number one, child? What my notes at? Okay, so hold on, let me go back over here. So those were the questions that sent in. We also have people who was invited to join us on Zoom. And they're also able to chime in with their input and they're also able to ask questions as well. So I'm going to throw the first question out to our first guest speaker. And then the people on Zoom can actually chime in or they can ask another question. And if you're on Zoom, if you're on YouTube or if you're on Facebook, we can also see your questions and we will also answer them as well. That's what we're here for. This is not no formal conversation. Act like we sipping on some wine and we chilling, okay? Because we gonna hash this thing out, and we're gonna help y'all get through some marriages and some conversations that you may can have with your spouse, or some questions that you may have. Let's go. Y'all ready? Question number one is, how do you continue after infidelity or external affairs? Who had that one?
I did.
All right, let's go.
Tell me God didn't know how that one went. So 32 years. How do you make it after infidelity and extramarital affairs? First of all, God has to be the center of it. Um,
Ooh.
there's not much you can get past if you don't have him, because forgiveness has to come into the path. And if you're not able to understand where it comes to be forgiving and have that, and I say God, depending on who you worship, I'm with Jesus. But that seems to be the one thing that got our relationship and our marriage through it. So my marriage has survived both sides having extramarital relationship. Um, we started over. We ended up renewing our vows after we decided that we were going to continue. That meant we needed to restate to each other that no one else was going to come up in there because we'd done backed off and messed up. And so ever
Wendy,
since
I had
then,
to I had to drink my water on that, Wendy. I wasn't even ready for that, y'all. I'm not even gonna lie. I had to stop and drink.
yeah,
I wasn't
people
even ready for
say,
that.
"Oh, he had an affair. I can't make." Well, that's not necessarily. He says, "Till death do us part." He says, "Through the good, through the
Mm.
bad, through the hard, through the through the easy, it sickness and in health." You know, it doesn't say, well, just because you did this. No, it means we've got to work through it. But don't mean that I'm going to turn the other cheek and let you continue to do it. So it really depends on the outcome that you get through the start, because I mean, habitual is habitual. I won't condone that, but my husband and I have both, we as I said, we renewed our vows and we've been faithful, we've been honest. um when we go through hard times and we go through struggles, we ask God to come in and make sure that we see each other's point of view so that we don't allow ourselves to get there.
Wow. Wendy, I applaud. First, I'm gonna applaud. I'm gonna applaud your honesty. First of all, so y'all know, I did not know that when I gave her that question. And but God knew that when I gave her that question, and He knew what her answer would be. And not only that, He knew that somebody's listening, and somebody who's gonna watch this needed to know that and needed to hear that. And for that, oh my God, that is so great. Because what I heard was, not only did he do it, I heard that she did it. And that is so important. Is that right? What I heard, right?
That is right.
Okay, just making sure, because I don't want to put nothing in my mouth. And so I'm not. And please don't say it when I say I like that. I like to hear the truth,
Yes,
because that truth will set somebody else free.
that's right.
Okay. And so thank you for your honesty today. And like I said, she's a pastor now. And I'm not, we're not even going to go back to where you was and what you did. We're not going to none of those things. But, and I just, oh, that's a whole nother, baby. I felt my hair stand up right now because I'm about to do a shundai. What they be saying? Her name. Hold up, let me stop. So, but my thing is, I'm so glad you were so open and transparent, because somebody needs to understand that in marriage. And that's why I started off earlier when I said about the marriage panel, because a lot of times we get this beautiful white dress and we're like, baby, I done got married. And we don't even understand, like, oh, I married him. He was fine. He might not be fine his whole life. I met him and
Well,
he was rich. He might not have money he might not have money 10 years from now because things happen. You know? Go
right.
ahead, Mindy. I'm sorry.
Well, and part of our thing is we were growing together. So my husband and I were 18 and 20 when we got married.
Okay.
So that also has a lot to do with it. You know, we were youthful and we were young, and I'm not giving that an excuse, but that allowed us to have leeway and we learned from it, and it allowed us to grow even more because ain't nobody going to be able to come in now. And we preach on the fact that we've now looked at each other and said, as long as you don't come between me and God, we're all right. And
I
that's
love
the
that. But
only
you
other
actually
thing.
said that. I like that. Chelsea, did you want to add something?
Something that spoke out to me was when she first started saying keeping God as your center. People have to understand that if you
Mm,
don't keep God in your center, there is nothing because He is everything. So you have to keep God in center in your center of your relationship and the center of yourself. How
Yeah.
can I love someone else if I don't love myself? So you
say
have
it
to keep
again.
them in the center of everything you do. And I think everything you said, it was great. Everything you said, it touched, and everything was great that you said.
Well, thank you.
Did you have anything to input, Deonze? Okay. Yeah, you like, I'm a bystander. I'm a bystander. Okay. Number two, how are you married but you feel alone? And how do you stay? And I had something I was going to say, but before I'm just going to go ahead and drop what Wendy said and go ahead and re-emphasize what Chelsea said. How do you keep? How do? I don't even write it right. Keep God in the center. If you keep God in the center, then you can't really be alone in your marriage. You can't. And I'm not even overdoing anything. I'm just stating the obvious and the factual period. When you make your husband your God, your children your God, but when you make God the God, you're gonna see. But we're gonna leave it alone because some people don't understand that, so we're gonna keep moving. So the answer to that is if you go to Google right now, let me tell you, I found so many things. They have married couple games. Oh well, let me skip to this one first before I tell you about all the stuff that I do. So first thing is talk about your loneliness. Why do you feel alone with your spouse? When are you feeling alone? Bring it up to your spouse because maybe your spouse don't even know. Like sometimes we assume. Like, have you ever been mad at somebody? Like real beef mad, and then you tell the person why you mad. Hey, husband, and then you realize that the other person didn't even know that you was mad. And they're like, what? So bring it up to your spouse, like, I feel really lonely. Because your spouse might not even know. Okay. Figure out what changed in your marriage. Because when you decided to get married, I promise you, you didn't marry him feeling lonely or marry her feeling lonely. So something shifted. But I have a question for you. Could the shift been because one of y'all had to get more hours because now you got more responsibilities?
Mm.
Could the shift been maybe because we went back to school? Could the shift maybe because now we're getting older and our parents are getting older and we got to take care of more responsibilities? Could the shift maybe because now we have kids that we're taking responsibility of that's taking some of our time? So, what I'm trying to say is sometimes we're like, I'm lonely in my marriage, but take a look, take a step back sometime and see where is the loneliness coming from. Um, Practice active listening. Oh, hunted, baby, that used to be me. I'd be ready. I'd be ready for the next, ready for the next, like yeah, ready for the comeback. But you know what? If you ready to respond, that means you not listening.
Mm,
It took me a
mhm.
long time to get there. If you are ready to respond, I be ready because that means you're not ready yet. See, I need you to listen to me because when you're listening to me, your posture is different. So I need you to listen to what your spouse is saying to you. Maybe you're alone because you're hold up. I'll make sure this message is not coming from no, it's not only for married people. No. I would love for people who are not married to listen in to the conversation because then you kind of get, I'm sorry guys, I just cut straight off to the question. No, it's this conversation is not just for married people. This is for everybody. And the reason why it's for everybody is because it will help everybody. It will help the people who are not married. Um, it will help the people. I don't know why this message. Can y'all see that message?
Mm-mm.
Oh,
I don't know why it went to a private folder. That's why I had to go to the other side. Hold on, give me a second. Let me put it up. Um, Give me a second. I'm trying to fix it. Maybe I have it set wrong. So no, anybody can join in the conversation. And the reason why I spoke to, if you go back and rewatch it, the reason why I spoke to people who are single is so this will help you out before you even get married. And I don't know why I stopped there because y'all know I forget everything I say. Hold up. What were we talking about? Let me see what we were. Work on communication, practice active listening, avoid playing the blame game. I'm not gonna touch that. Wendy pretty much touched it, and boom, she did an amazing job on it. Amazing. Make sure you laugh. Let me tell y'all something. My husband is my best friend. My husband is yes, I'd have Shamisha Washington, my best friend. Okay. Nicole Mack, my best friend. Okay. Apple Smith, my best friend. But my husband is my best friend. Like,
Mm-hmm.
he's my best friend. Like at the end of the day, we can go any my mama is my best friend. Wendy. She said my mama Wendy is my best friend. I love that. I love it though. But my husband is my best friend. And y'all know what? If y'all practice marrying your best friend, it's gonna be so hard to be lonely. I promise you. And I'm gonna make actually I have like 7 more, but I'm gonna stop because I think I yeah, because I'm too long-winded. But I think y'all got it. So the answer to my the answer to the question is let me go back to my thing. Is hold up, sorry, hold on. How are you married but you feel alone? But I think how what I should stay with is basically marry your best friend. Find a guy or a girl who you can laugh with, who make you happy. If the lights went out, if you had to be locked in a room with somebody for 4 or 5 days or a week, could you survive with that person? Then that should be enough to answer your question. Um, and so I want to give y'all a few tips. Me and my husband do date night on Fridays. Anybody who know me know we do date night on Fridays. Like it's a non-negotiable for us. No, I'm busy. We're doing date night because you gotta date your husband like you dated your husband or your wife when you first met them. I
Mm-hmm.
don't understand the mentality of when you met somebody, you dated them, you called them all the time, and now you married to them, you don't do the same thing. I feel abused. I'm sorry. I need that same
Mm-hmm.
attention that you gave me when you met me.
You got to
You
keep it
dated me.
going.
I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
need that. I'm gonna need that back. Go ahead. You want
Mm-hmm.
your hand up? Go ahead. You got it, Wendy.
I showed it. So someone introduced themselves to me and they said, "I'm sorry, we're newlyweds. We've only been married just over a year." And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry. We're newlyweds and we've been married 32 years."
I love it. I love it. Seriously, you should
Always
never get
newlyweds.
out of the honeymoon stage.
That's
My
right.
husband still hold my hand. My husband tell me every day. I be like, "What are you looking at?" You're so beautiful. I be like, "Oh, you so corny." And he be like, "I'm so corny over you." I'm like,
So silly.
right.
But those little things make a difference, though. You got to keep
It does.
those things going on. Like she said, it doesn't matter if you've been married a year or 50 years. You got to keep it hot, keep it going. You have to.
Keep it spicy. Deontay, you want to add something? Okay, I talked enough. Okay, number 3. I think is that you, Chelsea. Number 3.
Was
Who's
it
number
the
3?
was it the sexual differences one?
Do you feel sexual differences can lead to divorce if it's dead
That's
in the bedroom? Who is that?
that's me. That's me.
Okay, what you got?
I would say it will lead to a lot of issues
Mm,
ahead if you don't get some kind of understanding between yourself and your partner. If there's something that you want or don't want in that department, or let's say something they want or don't want in that department. You have to communicate that and make sure your needs are getting met already. I would say you have to realize and understand that it's not just about you and it's not just about them, but it's about you together. You know, you're one. Whether if you're married, how me and my husband are. When people always said, "Oh, y'all were already married when y'all first started dating," because we had already practiced everything. So when we got married, it was the same thing going on. So you have to keep that going on. So we always have an understanding, you know, before we even get married, because when you get married, it's a bonus layer. I say it's not an added layer, but a bonus layer. So
Oh, that's
we're doing the
good.
same things we've been doing. So just understanding that it's not about you, it's not about him, but it's about us as one, us as together. And when you have that mindset, it makes the world of a difference. And I know that for a
Mm, that's good, Chelsea. That's good. Wendy, did you want to add something?
I can tell you, you know, you said something about date night. So here you go. So I'm a pastor now, but there were things I did before pastorship. And I used to do what's called lingerie parties. I don't think they exist anymore. If they do, I don't even know who does them. The company
They
I did them,
exist.
the company I was with, I think they went out of business. Anyway, so when I would tell people how I booked my parties was because I promoted monogamous marriages. So see, I taught women that lingerie and creams and oils were okay, just like I taught the husbands that it was okay to take and buy her something that he liked as long as it was for the wife.
Mm-hmm.
It also helps marriages to not grow stagnant because you keep it spicy. There are things, so we've been married 32 years. You know, sometimes just going to dinner isn't the greatest thing. But you know, I can get dressed up and I can go sit at a bar and he can come sit next to me and pretend to be a stranger and he can pick me up and it reignites it. It's more of a um not a stranger danger dating thing, but yet it's my husband. You know what I'm saying? So it's role
Right.
playing. It's doing things so that it doesn't get dead. So
Mm-hmm.
so sexual differences may come about, but as you grow, you may find things that kind of ignite a different uh, thought or an idea, or maybe change their point of view when it comes to sexual differences.
I like that. I like that.
Absolutely.
So I stopped talking earlier because I feel like I was way too long winded. And I'm going to answer your question in just a second on Facebook. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Okay. But I want to finish this answer real quick. So when it came down to, I had wrote, I had, you know what? My brain is everywhere. I'm parted on Facebook question and I'm parted over here. So let me concentrate on this one answer. Okay. So the first part about the sexual part. So there is tons of cards and games that even if it's not something that you want to do, you can play games with your spouse. Okay, and it could be a game night, and it can say, and well, we're on live, so I'm not gonna say it, but if you could pull a card that say, "Let's do such and such," and even if you don't want to do that, you should still do it as if you would do it as, as, as you would do it for somebody else, if that makes sense. Because y'all know when we go with our girlfriends or our boy, I don't know, I'm not gonna say boy because I don't know what guys do without us, but I know with girls, we'd be like, "Girl, I bet you want chug dug this thing at a party, right?" I'm just being honest. Girl, I bet you won't run down this thing with this on. And we do all type of stuff with our girlfriends. And so with me saying that is if we're playing a game with our guy, our husband, our love mate, and it says do such and such, I think that we should play those games and we should do those same things regardless if it's something that we really want to do. But if it's something that's super offensive, then that's different. Because I got my line too, you know? But just to keep it hot and spicy.
Well, and it helps because
All
if you
right,
think
Deonze, you listen. Go ahead.
they're going to end up having that
No, go
same
ahead.
thought, right?
Right. Exactly. So y'all can go Google online. There is so many games online, and there's so many stores that have games that you and your spouse can play. And if y'all not into those type of games, they have like I'm talking about. They have couple reconnection games. They have activity games. They have date games. Deanna said, "Don't cut your phone up. I got a customer asking a question, a male question." Now he want to run because he know I got a question for him. Oh, somebody said at the mall. Y'all, I'm left. Oh my God, y'all! I told Dion say he was next. He cut his camera off so fast. So, so the Facebook user said a friend and I had a conversation that a single woman looking for a husband will not find one because it's not for a woman to look, but to be prepared for a husband. So for Deontay, being a man, do you think that is that correct? Would a woman approach you be a sign of aggressiveness and be a turn off, a red flag if she is not wifey material? Wait a minute, be a turn off or a red flag that she is not wifey material. Did I say it right?
I think so.
Oh, wait a minute. So guys, so you telling me I'm sorry, this is gonna be so sarcastic, but I'm not being sarcastic. Okay, maybe I am being sarcastic. So guys knows when girls want one night stands and y'all just fall for it. Yeah. Okay, so you're saying okay, I'm sorry. So okay. So what he said was he said that it depends on how she approaches, how she comes out and approaches. Can anybody want to regurgitate what he said?
I couldn't hear him as well.
No.
Yeah, I couldn't hear,
Okay.
but I have three brothers.
No, because Facebook is asking him to repeat it, but they said they can't hear. Okay, so Wendy gonna say something too, but let me try to repeat it. Okay, all he was basically saying was is that a guy can really tell when a girl is desperate. Basically, is what he said. He was saying he can tell when a girl kind of comes up and she just want a one night stand, or if she's a genuine female who wants a relationship. So to
Mhm.
your friend, if she's going up to a guy and she's being aggressive, Deontay, correct me if I'm wrong. So what Deontay, I think, is saying is if a girl go up to him and she's being aggressive, even though she's being aggressive, but she's wifey material and she's displaying wifey material, he can tell. But if she's being aggressive and she's displaying slutty material, he can tell. Is that correct? Boom. Hit that nail on the boop, hammer. Go ahead. Go ahead,
Yep,
Wendy.
that's the basics of it. So I have three brothers, and they will tell you, each one of them would tell you that they know the difference, and um, it's like they have a radar for it. Just like we have a radar to know if a man is in it for the long haul or not. You know what I'm saying? What was the old saying my mom used to say? Um, the man knows whether he's going to get the milk for free or whether he's going to have to pay for it for a long time. Just like we know whether they want to get the milk for free or whether they're willing to pay for the milk.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just like we know, they know.
Hmm.
And so, and this probably a little bit off the topic, and I think that's why I get frustrated sometimes when men go in my inbox and kind of be a little rude and say stuff that know that I'm like when they come to my inbox and they know I'm married and or I know that you're married. I know that you're married, and you say something to me, And I'm thinking to myself, do I give you the whole vibes? Like, do I throw off those vibes to you because I'm a nice person? And so what Deontay just said and what Wendy just said just clarified my why I get so upset. Because so basically you're saying that you picked my number and was like, oh yeah, that she gives out those vibes. So guess what, guys? Anybody who watching this live, yeah, you come for me anytime soon, you're probably gonna get the work because Beyonce done added for him and Wendy to add fuel to my fire because now I feel disrespected. Chelsea.
Well,
I was like that when I was single. Like if you just giving me like he said, if you giving me weird vibes and coming up to me aggressively and then wonder why I'm not responding, well, hello, why do you think I'm not that type of female? And then get mad, oh, I'm too good to talk to you. No, well, actually maybe I am because look how you're coming at me. And so when I got married, it was triple times that. Don't even look my way because it's like my loyalty is unmatched. You know, me and my husband have an understanding. You know what I'm saying? Like if something like that does happen, he's the first to know, and vice versa. And you have to have that understanding or that's going to create a whole line of issues. Well, why you didn't tell me such and such did this? You're going to put yourself in a sinkhole. So going back to what they said, I mean, it all at the end of the day, it all comes around to you, how you respond, what you tolerate, so to say.
Right. So I hope that answered your question. Thank you. They say preach, ladies. Okay, number 4. How do you survive without the same values and beliefs and future plans? Oh my goodness. Who have number 4?
I do.
All right, let's go, Wendy.
I'm telling you, he knew exactly what questions to give. So again, so when we started out, my husband and I didn't really even talk about that. Um, I do teach my daughters to try to make sure that that's what they look for when they have their discussion with their mates is, their belief system and stuff. But if you're a believer and you find somebody and you feel that God has led you in the path and all the things are going right and you're believing this, right? And this person doesn't believe, that doesn't stop a relationship opportunity. Instead, it actually can enlighten if you do it well, because a believer can actually lead someone who doesn't believe into believing with
Right,
love,
right,
relationship, with consistency of showing them uh, the kind of view and values that us as believers have. That actually can kind of benefit to another person, which actually, makes another generation of believers come along. Because why? Because now someone else believes and so on. Um, do I believe that two different types of religions can have the same relationship? Yes. My son is Christian and my daughter-in-law is Catholic. So I do believe that they can exist. They give my granddaughters the choice to believe how they choose. So I'm thankful for that. One of my granddaughters is already chosen. She's chose Christianity and she believes in Jesus. Not saying that Catholic doesn't have a pull, but it was the option that was given. You know what I'm saying? Um, do I believe it's easy for an atheist and a Christian? Probably, maybe not, because there will be a big conflict of difference there.
right. You don't
But
believe in nothing. Right.
right, but we don't know what is in God's plans. You know,
Right.
there's been times where, they say God is love. If you can teach someone love, then you can teach someone God, right?
Right.
So if an atheist can learn love, then they too can learn God.
Yeah,
So
that's
it,
good.
it, it just depends on what you are looking for. If you're wanting somebody that's going to be there from the get-go on a Sunday morning with you, that's what you need to look for. if you want somebody who's there for the lifetime, that's your friend, and you think that that possibility may be there, well, first let's see how far, and how compatible you are, and then go from there.
Right.
Never let that be a factor, because you can always pray. And God
Mm.
says, let me see, who is it? Von Juan says, push, pray until something happens.
Right.
So,
That's good. That's good. So on a note, so a lot of people don't know this about me, but when I left my first husband, I also walked away from God as well. I was like, if you daddy, my father, my everything, you can't fix my marriage. So I just don't want, I have a daddy that can't fix my marriage. Like, if you could do everything. So I walked away from God. And so when I got into my new marriage, my new relationship with my husband never forced God on me. He never forced God on me. He just dripped God on me. He just dripped him back on me, which was really good, because if he probably tried to force him, I probably would have been more resistant, you know. But because he did the drip, I've always been instilled. God has always been instilled in me, you know. So it was really easy to go back to something that already was in me. I was just a stubborn person who was just upset with him at the time, because I felt like I had a four and a half bedroom house in Lamarck. I had everything I thought that a person should need. I mean, you just can't fix my marriage. Like, like you're God. Like, I need you to fix him, right? Fix this. And anybody who know my first marriage, me and my husband had a great marriage, except when he was drinking. And when he was drinking, he thought he should put his hands on me. And I just can't be somebody's punching bag. That's just not what I was meant to be. And so this is not what this is about, but those who know me know God specifically told me if I didn't leave that marriage, he was going to kill me. And for don't anybody who everybody know who my first husband was, he wasn't going to purposely kill me. He was going to accidentally kill me. Y'all don't understand. Drinking and hitting on other people, you can accidentally kill somebody. And God don't lie. I seen it very vividly in a dream. I see my children throwing petals on me. This is very deep for this conversation. I don't know how we got here, but we're here now. Somebody might need to hear this. Very clearly, God showed me the petals and my children and the grave. Very clearly. And I had to leave. And I'm like, okay, God, well, you can't stop this from coming to pass, then I'm out. I am going to leave, but I'm done with you too. And when God came back to when I went back to God, God showed me sometimes we get into marriages and we get into relationships and we get so mad at God for not fixing things. But God don't always put us in stuff. God never told me to marry that man. God just covered me while I was there. And that's what we get so upset. Gave me this car, you let my car get repoed. No, no, no. God gave you the means to get the car, but he never told you to get that car. God gave you the means to get that job, but he never told you to take that job. Don't know how we got on this subject, but I promise you this got to be for somebody. Go ahead, Miss Chelsea.
So while you were talking, something spoke to me really lively when you were saying, why isn't God fixing it for me? Why isn't he doing X and Y and Z? He was already fixing it for you. You just didn't know it was being fixed. He was fixing it by removing you from that situation. But
Girl,
in
you
that
better
time,
say it.
you didn't see it that way. So in
Because
that
he
way,
wasn't
you're
fixing it how
questioning
I
it.
wanted it. Because he didn't fix it how I wanted it. That's why I didn't see
Right.
the fix, Chelsea.
Right. But he's fixing it his own way, and he knows what's better for us than we know is for ourselves. So it was already fixed before you even realized it was already fixed. You thinking it's broken, but it was already done. And so now look at where you at now. Your testimony for us and for everybody to understand. And that was something really beautiful you said. And when as soon as you said that, God put me, it was like, tell her it was already fixed. Because like
That's
you said,
good,
somebody
Chelsea.
else need to hear that, and it was already fixed. And that was beautiful that you shared that, because I didn't even know that. So that was awesome that you shared that with us.
Thank you, Miss Chelsea. And for some reason, I just shared it, but you're right that somebody needs to hear it exactly how Miss Chelsea said it. And like she said, it was already fixed. But sometimes we don't think that it's fixed because it's not fixed how we want it to be fixed. we already have our own outcome. And God, like, that's not the outcome that I have for you. But you're so busy with your own outcome. This is how I want it to look like. And God, like, that's not your outcome. I have another outcome for you. So yeah, that was really good. Thank you, Miss Chelsea. Did anybody else want to add something to that?
Oh, I do. I do. So it's kind of um, like a relationship. You know, God's our father, right? Have you ever thought about how many times your child will ask you a question in different ways, trying to get a different answer? And you're still like, it doesn't matter how many times you ask me a different question, it's still the same answer because it's still the same question. You're wanting me to fix something, or you're wanting me to do something, or well, what if I go with my friend, or what if my friend's mom goes, or what if well, it's still going to be the same answer of, well, no, this isn't what I had for you. That's not our plan. That's not our plan. That's not our plan. And he does tell us literally, lean not unto our own understanding, but to his, because for he knows the plans that he's gotten, which is to prosper and for us to do things. And here is the great thing is, it's kind of like doing a coloring page. You ever seen a coloring page where you got just a portion, you got all these colors, right? Well, if you focus on just the one spot, then you can get inside those lines. But if you don't remember that you got the whole picture, you forget that you got to add the other colors in there. And sometimes those other colors are the answers that God has in store for us, not that one color.
Right, right.
That's
That's good. That's good. All right, guys, we giving y'all the tea today, baby. Y'all getting the tea today.
good.
Is that it? Wait, hold up. Oh, wait, number 5. Money, finances, and how important is that in marriages, Chelsea? That gotta be yours, right?
Yep, is mine. I say money and finances. People will say, "Oh, it's no big deal," but let's be honest. It's pretty important in a marriage. It's huge. Other than sex or anything like that, finances is huge. I see talked about before you even get married. That needs to be talked about when you're first kind of like dating or figuring out I'm interested in this person. That needs to be touched on then. I would say you have to have an understanding so that there is no surprises later. For example, what's expected needs to be discussed, such as what expenses there will be. Like if you like taking vacations every year out of the country and your husband's saying that's ridiculous, that money can go somewhere else. You have to have those talks about what you already are doing and then what maybe
Right.
you want to keep going on forward. I would also say what needs to be talked about is how things will be paid, what
Mm,
your finances and money look like as individuals, and then how it'll look together. For example, are your bills going to be 50-50? Are your bills going to be, it depends on who you're with and what understanding you have. What works with me and my husband may not work with the next couple. So you have to have that conversation among each other to figure out how this is going to work out so that when it happens, y'all aren't getting in disagreements or arguments over something and you're saying, well, I've been doing this. Well, this is something you should have been, been have told that person at the very beginning.
ooh, that's good. That's good. And I want to piggyback on something that she said. I have heard so many people in the relationships go, "Well, I talked to my girlfriend and they did this." First off, quit talking to your unmarried girlfriend. That's number one. Okay. Somebody who's not even
Bingo.
married cannot give you no advice into a married relationship. I don't even care how offended you get, have several seats, several, and not even close seats in the back. Okay. That's number one. Number two, if your friend is not in a, if your, let me start over. If your friend is not in a healthy marriage, I want you to sit in the back of the room before you try to give me advice. Okay? Sit all the way in the back. And actually, I want you to be on mute and get a pen and paper and take some notes. Okay? And you should be ashamed of your own self getting advice from somebody who don't have no spouse or getting with somebody who not even in a healthy relationship. Period.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is for all young people. This is for all old people. This is for every. I am not going to nobody and ask nobody for advice for me in this household who can't keep a husband. That makes no sense to me. I'm just being downright for real. I'm not going to ask somebody for financial advice who every minute is texting me for $5. That makes no sense to me. Guys, you got to do things that I know, Deonta, you got something to say? Give me a minute. I'm coming. You got to do things that make sense. And you got to do things that make sense. If your friend can calculate her own account, why are you telling her about you and your husband business and then calculation in money? So, yes, I said money. It's with an S. Okay? Stop it. If you found you a mate, I don't care how bad your relationship is. You go in a closet and you only talk to God about that relationship. Because I'm going to tell you what. If you talk to me about your raggedy husband, and when your raggedy husband come around me, I'm gonna accidentally call him a raggedy husband. Not because I know he raggedy, because you told me he was raggedy. If you don't tell nobody that your husband is raggedy, nobody don't know he raggedy. Don't be on Facebook in the world talking about your husband and then have the audacity to be like, nobody don't talk about my husband. Nobody will not talk about your husband if you don't talk about your husband. Period. Mic drop. Okay? Yes, Deonta, what you got? I don't lie about my husband. But honestly, I love my husband. Anybody who be around us, my husband open the door for every female that he see. And sometimes, I'm not going to lie, I have to give him the evil eye to close to stop holding it up. Because he just keep holding it. And then he'd be like, but the next lady was elderly. I don't give a crap. Hungry. You done held the door for 10 ladies. What the heck is the men at? He even let men in because the men is stopped to hold the door for him so he can go in so they can get the next held another door. Okay? So he's just an overall nice guy. But he do have flaws. And there's times when I be want to call somebody up and be like, oh, and I start thinking about all the good flaws he got. He has. And I'm like, I'm not even gonna go call nobody about him. I'm not even finna downgrade his character for the little that he don't do because what he do is too big. Come on now.
Oh.
Because you know what's gonna happen? The minute I tell them, well, first off, if I do call, usually Miss Smith or Shay, they don't have, if I do get mad, and first of all, they'll be like, if you don't sit your spoiled self down somewhere, I usually don't get sympathy anyway. But if I was, point is, if you sit and you talk about your spouse, what are your friends gonna do later? Talk about your spouse. Why? Because you gave them an ammunition to talk about your spouse. I'm
I
just
got
being
one.
honest. Go ahead. And then we're about to wrap this up.
Why you keep speaking it into existence?
Mm.
Why? The power of the mouth and the tongue. Speak good and speak life about your husband and see if you don't have a lively husband.
Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good one. Hold on. Guys, y'all already know. That's what I do. Y'all see what that say? I speak life. I don't even know. I'm going to say it on live anyway. I have a blessing coming your way, Wendy. Just so you know, I got something coming for you, okay? So I did a vision board at Wendy. Come on, Wendy. You preaching. Yes, she is, baby. So last month, I want to bring in an extra 20K to my house. This is also something I'm going to make this quick. Every month, I get on my knees and I ask God for what increase I can get. And once He tells me the increase that I can get for my house to cover the things, because my husband paid the bills at this house. Okay, I sit at home. I have issues. I have I have autoimmune disorders. I have epilepsy. Those who know me, and I have issues. So I work from home. So my income is based off of off of my Facebook. I'm a social influencer. So the books that I sell, the vision board planners, that's how I make money. So make a long story short, the events that I make. So make a long story short, I asked for 20K last month, okay? Printed it out, stuck it on my vision board. You know your girl got it. Because his God don't play about me. He don't play about me at all.
Mm-hmm.
So this month I only asked for 10 because that's all he told me. He ain't tell me 20 this month. So I put my little 10 on there. I waited a little bit. I'm like, God, before I push print. Before I push print. So it's a 10. And thank you for the 10. But in the process of pushing 10, praying about something, he said, and you gotta bless Wendy. So Wendy, don't ask me why, but God got something for you. And it's coming from my way, just so you know, baby girl. But anyway, so we're gonna keep on going. Let me tell you something about God. I don't play about God. I don't
Mm-hmm.
play about God. I don't play about God. Anybody who know me know I don't play about him. But he don't play about me. Okay? So anyway, sum this up. What was I about to say? So we talked anything else anything we missed on here?
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
All right, guys. If y'all have any questions on today, if you have any more questions, if you want us to have another panel about anything, drop it in the comments. And so I am Rachel Pence, and I have a podcast called Unmasking the Blueprint. And so I'm usually on Tuesdays, and I interview entrepreneurs, and I interviewed the amazing Chelsea Harris. At that time, she was Chelsea Gamble. You can go back and watch her episode. You want to go ahead and tell them what you do, and you can also come back and drop your link in here too. She's like,
Oh, you talking about me? You want me to drop my link? Okay. I will, after we get off, I'll probably comment it in there
You
because
want to tell them what you do?
I'm right now I'm doing more of the life coach kind of thing because I'm in the process of finishing. I have my master's in professional counseling and marriage and family therapy. So I have a master's in it, but I'm in the process of getting licensed. So in the time being, I'm doing my life coach pretty much life coaching anybody from couples to children. I've done it all. So that's what I'm doing right now until I get my license for counseling.
I love it. I love it. Me and Wendy might talk to you after the show. We got something we got going on after this too. All right, Wendy, what you got going on, Miss Wendy?
Well, as a pastor, I do all kinds of things in the community. Counseling is not far from that. I believe, as you see, that keeping God in the center is wise. As I'm seeing these comments now, because I've seen that mall comment, that's one of my spiritual daughters. So that's good that makes me feel good she was watching, because I've been kind of counseling her and my son, because they are not quite married, but they are finding out who each other are. So
That's
I was
good.
glad that you were able to allow others to come in. But I also, I've got 3 children, one of which has a marriage. I helped when their marriage was rocky to make sure that it kept going. As a community, when you see someone struggling, maybe first start with prayer and then see maybe if you can help it instead of trying to damage it or
That's
letting it
good.
be. So I want to put that advice out there for others. And then I do Rocket City Romance. Rocket City Romance helps to do things all the way from courtship to marriage to surprise things in the midst of marriage, to renewals, to weddings, to everything. So everybody can look up my Facebook at Rocket City Romance. As I say, I did other things prior, and I still tell people, God says to submit to your husband in all ways, not necessarily to do as he says, but to make sure that you help to accentuate that is the man that is there that God created. And when you find those things, like I said, date nights and role plays and stuff like that, that's what I do.
I love it. I love it. So Chelsea already let y'all know if y'all need some life coaching, she's gonna drop her link and some family coaching. It's okay to have family coaching. We gotta train our children in the way that they need to go. Okay. She's gonna drop the link. If you need some romance, she already told you. Miss Wendy said she's gonna drop the comment underneath. And of course she does it with the script. It's done with scripturally background or no, Miss Wendy? Yes.
Yes, of course. God is in the center of everything I do.
Baby. And I just love that because I mean, she told you in the beginning, y'all know I tore it up when I wrote it down, but keep God in the center of everything. I mean, you just can't go wrong with him
Mhm,
in the center of everything. All right. And so
mhm.
y'all know as usual. Oh, thank you, baby. Rocket City Romance. I love it. Thank you. That's probably her baby girl, her biggest fan. I love it. I love it. Um, and so and then y'all know I'm Rochelle Pens. I have the 300 list that's coming up really soon. So if you want to manifest some things in your life, if you just like, you know what, it's things that I want to do, it's things that I want to see come into fruition. No dreamer. People like, oh, I'm not no dreamer. I believe in Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision, make it plain. I believe in the
Mhm.
Bible.
Yes.
I, everything that I do comes from the Holy Bible. Like my life is how it is because I truly believe that if you do the works with
Mhm.
good intentions,
Practice what
the
you
fruits
preach.
of your labor will manifest. What happens is we're speaking words and doing the devil's work and
Mm,
expecting manifestation, and that's why it's not manifesting.
come
Okay,
Mhm.
on.
but we're not here for that. So thank y'all so much for tuning in. They're gonna drop the information so you can find them. I don't know when the next time we having one. This is just came up because people say that they need it. I'm here for y'all needs. You need another one? Let me know. You got anything you want to add,
I think
Deontay?
that's great.
Until until next time, we'll see y'all later.